Why, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. My name is Mr. DB333, and welcome back to the new campaign trail and a special emergency video. That's right, I know we're in the middle of July, but we have something a little urgent news-wise that we need to pay attention to today. Today, at least the day that this is supposed to be uploaded, and to the best of my knowledge, is the day that Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Keir Starmer, a man who will probably not really be remembered 20 or 30 years from now, is resigning his post as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. In his stead is former Mayor of Manchester, current MP Andy Burnham, who is going to be replacing him as leader of the Labour Party and, by proxy, later leader of the United Kingdom. Now, there's a mod about his election. Well, it was supposed to be his election. UK politics is kind of complicated. He was supposed to run in an election for a constituency a couple of months ago, but the Labour government, or the board in charge of picking Labour candidates, did not pick him. Probably because Keir Starmer realized that Burnham wanted his job, and he didn't want that, so he did something about it, which is, from my understanding, probably the only thing he really did as Prime Minister. Not a very active guy there, that Keir. But, I'm just talking out of my rear. I'm an American, so my understanding of European countries is kept to a minimum, as I deeply prefer it. That's not entirely true. But you would believe me if I said it, probably. Maybe. I don't know. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be hopping into that original by-election. And we're going to see if we can't turn back time a little bit and send Keir Starmer packing once again. So let's hop into it. With Labour MP Andrew Gwynn announcing his resignation from Parliament, a seat in Manchester opens up. Many have been saying that Andy Burnham, the mayor of Greater Manchester, will take the opportunity to enter the House of Commons and position himself to become the next Prime Minister. With the incumbent Labour Prime Minister Keir Starmer facing rock-bottom polling and loss of Runcorn and Hillsby last year to Reform UK, his position as Prime Minister looks increasingly shaky day after day. With the popular Andy Burnham likely to run in the seat, it's looking likely for a Labour victory. The Labour victory is all but guaranteed, but could he face more obstacles than he bargained for? So, let's hop in and check on here. Shout out to the main coder, Brioche Windows, I think that is, as well as the various writers. This is quite a fun mod, by the way. And I will tell you all this. If you want to see me play more of this mod, because we have two other parties we can play as, Reform UK and the Green Party, go ahead and leave 11 likes on this video and tell me in the comments which party you want to see me play first, whether Reform UK, which is, how to describe them, pseudo-Trumpy, I guess is the best way to put it. They're the most popular party polling-wise right now in the UK, but their leader might lose to a guy with a bin on his head. Again, that probably won't happen, but let me have something funny happen in this world, please, God. And the Greens, who have actually become semi-credible. The Green Parties run the gambit in Europe and elsewhere from being novelty niche parties that don't do that much other than arguably split the votes to being major governing parties like the one in Germany. The Green Party was set to become somewhere closer to the latter, but we'll see what happens. They ended up winning this election in real life because they had Burnham step down. But we're going to be hopping in as the Labour Party. Founded in 1900, Labour is the governing party led by Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Traditionally, it sits on the political left, long supported by its traditional base of trade unionists. Under their current Prime Minister, many believe the party has lost its way. The party is experiencing record low polling, below 20% of the vote in the aggregate. So desperate to stab the Corbyn legacy in the back, the move away from Corbynism has been met by a mass exodus of many of its legacy supporters. Keir told them that the door's open and that they can leave. Labour held this seat by over 50 points in 2024. There should be no way that they lose it, right? There's no way they could fuck up something this easily. Right? Well, they're not going to do it in this timeline. But, that's what we call a little bit of a cheeky foreshadowing. Anyhow, here's the main bloke we'll be playing as. Andy Burnham, the King of the North, from the home state of Mayor of Greater Manchester. The King of the North, they call him. It was once a joke, but now it's endearing. After serving as a Labour MP for Ley from 2001 to 2017, serving multiple positions in Gordon Brown's cabinet and a unsuccessful bid for Labour leadership in 2015, he became the first and only elected mayor of Greater Manchester. Widely considered a future Prime Minister if he could find his way into Parliament, the perfect opportunity presents itself with the resignation of Andrew Gwynn, being he most popular member of the entire party. They didn't proofread that too thoroughly, did they? The question isn't if he can win, it's if he can get nominated by his own party for the seat. Well, that's the question, isn't it? Well, we got a couple achievements we're going to be going for. The main one, most importantly, Field of Burn is probably what we're going for, but we're going for It's Storm Over. So, let's hop in. 22nd of January. Andrew Gwynn has announced his retirement, opening up a seat in the Manchester area. A by-election is now scheduled for 26th of February. Labour losing a by-election in Runcorn and Hillsby last year to Reform UK, what will you urge that Labour do differently this time around to avoid a repeat of that? Well, we have our reservations about Labour losing the Runcorn and Hillsby race, but we've got to look forward to this new race on its own terms. We have to adapt our campaign accordingly and avoid any drama involving the parliamentary party at all cost. The by-election itself might not be the biggest obstacle you will face. The main battle might be set to be your own party. The question surrounding you as a future Prime Minister, the current leadership probably feels a little uneasy. The 24th of January. Many are theorizing about you running for a parliamentary seat and even becoming a future Prime Minister able to reunite the Labour Party, which is fractured amid Prime Minister Starmer's centrist pivot. Will you be running in the by-election, and will you be the candidate that will replace Starmer? I'll announce my intention to run the Gorton and Denton by-election. I'll assure the NEC that this isn't about replacing the current Labour leadership. I want to work with Starmer and turn Labour's fortunes around. I hope to work in his cabinet in the future as one of the most popular figures in the Labour Party right now. The tensions are still thick between you and the NEC, and it's looking unlikely that they'll let you run, citing fears of losing the Manchester mayoral seat to Reform. From my understanding, the NEC is the internal board inside the Labour Party to decide who does or doesn't run as a candidate. Most of my viewers are American, so we're used to primaries and voting for our guys. From my understanding, they just kind of pick who can or cannot run. Might be an oversimplification, but anyone in there who's a British political expert, leave any comments correcting me. And also tell me how you think about Keir Starmer and his views on Israel-Palestine. I'm sure that'll be very civil down the comment section below. Don't do that one, please. Anyway, where do we want to visit? I believe the most... Oh, we also have our map, so let me point out the map for you. Our main issues in this election are demographics, tenacity, education, religion, and deprivation. Alright. The most votes are in Burnage, so let's go to Burnage. Burnham. This writes itself, right? 12th of January. It's looking like most of the NEC is opposed to your running, citing supposed concerns that your application for the Manchester mayoral seat puts the Greater Manchester area at risk of being won by Reform UK. However, you find an ally in Lucy Powell, the Deputy Labour leader and MP for Manchester Central. How will he convince the NEC to allow you to run? Look, I know what's really going on here. It's not about the supposed fears that Reform will pick up the mayoralship. It's about the Prime Minister fearing I'm coming for his job. They're just not willing to say it. If we assuage these fears, I'm sure we'll be able to run. You begin to negotiate with your Labour NEC, focusing on quelling an anxiety that they aren't being particularly open about. You think it went well, but will you be given the green light? Well, on the 25th of January, after some deliberation, Deputy Labour leader Lucy Powell has managed to assuage the fears of your candidacy, with the NEC ruling 8-1 in favour of you running in Gorton and Denton. Now you're officially the Labour candidate. How will you start your campaign? Oh, those fucking idiots. They don't know what they just did. Well, everyone knows who I am. I'm the popular mayor of a great city. There's a reason why so many of us want to run, because we can be sure that this seat will stay Labour. I am the central figure, and should take full advantage of that. Personality cult, sure, but you are a very strong personality, and you may as well make use of it. Nobody's beloved in Manchester politics as Andy Burnham. We made it, boys. We are cleared to run. We're even doing quite well in the Denton area. But let's try to up our margin of votes. Denton West. So this is let's keep going to Burnham. Whilst heading back to your campaign headquarters, you're ambushed by a Sky News reporter asking if you're looking to replace Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. How will you respond? Well, I'm not going to stand here and deny the obvious. If Labour continues its current trajectory of ignoring the needs of ordinary working people and communities, that's not something I would be entirely opposed to. A key condition of the NEC letting you run was that you would not challenge Starmer for leadership. Safe to say, they are not best pleased. However, for those considering defecting to the Greens, this honesty is seen far more positively. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. 30th of January. An asylum seeker, Dang Majek, has just been sentenced to 29 years in prison for the murder of Rhiannon White, a woman working at the facility he was housed at. The breaking news has brought the conversation of asylum policy and immigration into the forefront. How will you direct the campaign on these issues? My heart breaks for her family, a son who will grow up without his mother. And the tragedy is that nothing we can do can turn back the clock. Justice has been served today. A cold-blooded murderer will not see the outside world for a long time. The more you've talking about immigration, the more you're playing into an issue that's weighed against Labour. For now, limiting to a tribute to the victim and the family will avoid directing the campaign too deeply into a losing issue. I'm kind of curious if we should try to visit some of these areas. I forget if there's any gain to be done there. Let's see if we can go to Denton West, actually. I think that'll be good. 30th of January. The controversial far-right figure, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, better known as Tommy Robinson, has endorsed Reform UK's candidate Matt Goodwin this by-election. Goodwin soon after rejects the endorsement. Instead, Nick Buckley, the advanced UK candidate, gets his endorsement. Will you make any comment about this? Absolutely. Matt Goodwin said that UK-born people from minority ethnic backgrounds were not necessarily British. He's right in line with the hate and toxic politics spewed by Tommy Robinson, and shouldn't be allowed to distance himself from that. Tommy Robinson's endorsement shows who Matt Goodwin is. An all-out attacking approach puts more press focus on Reform UK and Matt Goodwin. Whilst it is mostly negative coverage, it is still coverage. Nevertheless, this turns many from minority backgrounds against him. Well, there we go. Genius white, majority minority, ethnically diverse. Okay. We're doing pretty well thus far. The 1st of February, Peter Mandelson, alright, this guy, a Labour peer and British ambassador to the United States, has resigned his post following further revelations of his connections to the convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in the new batch of released files. Whilst he was known before to have some connections, it turns out they were deeper than expected. What will he say on this matter? Well, we can't defend the Prime Minister on this. Mandelson's connection with Epstein were known back in 2009, and his appointment as British ambassador to the United States was questionable even when it happened. It puts the Prime Minister's judgment in question, certainly. Being so openly critical of the Prime Minister will certainly damage party unity, but may help clarify using an outsider voice willing to push for change from within the Labour Party, something that may play better with people asking for answers to these generational revelations about their government. Imagine actually prosecuting members of your government who are in the Epstein files. Outside of Denton West, Gorton and Denton is one of the most deprived constituencies, ranking within the 20 most deprived in the country. As such, a question about the cost of living is one of the most important to the constituents, how we would deliver the Labour message on this issue. Well, while the cost of living hasn't improved by much, our plan is far more credible than the Greens. A radical tax shake-up in such a volatile economic state as right now is economic madness, and we can't give in to it. Things have changed in the past few decades. Taxes aren't the dirty word they used to be as much today. The wealth tax proposed from the Green Party is proving especially popular. I don't know how effective that is, but okay. The issue of Gaza costs Labour 4 safe constituencies in the 2024 general election, with this by-election potentially becoming another seat at risk of being lost. Much of the population in Gorton and Denton is comprised of Muslims. We're especially concerned with the issue of Britain's relationship to Israel, the Prime Minister not opposing Israel's actions in Gaza enough. How will you campaign on these issues? Well, what we've seen in Gaza is a genocide, and the government must recognize it as such. The mass murder and deliberate starvation of millions is no accident. It's a deliberate effort to eradicate the Palestinian people from Gaza. We must not rest until Netanyahu sits in front of an ICC tribunal at The Hague. You take the harshest position against Israel, one that would be unthinkable in the Labour Party of a couple of years ago. The government is displeased with your stance, but those who defected to the Greens and Workers' Party of Britain may see use a chance for reform within the Labour Party on this issue. Well, we're ahead by a good solid amount. If only we could play the monster raving loony party. Well, I assume mod makers, if you're watching this, first off, excellent mod. I've enjoyed playing this offline a fair bit. Glad to have a chance to do it online today. Second, you guys are making the Clacton by-election, right? When that wraps up, you guys know you have to. I mean, you don't have to do anything. You're all volunteers. You're doing this for fun. But I would very much appreciate it. You would be a group of right blokes for this. Denton West. Uh-oh. Further WhatsApp group messages implicate the outgoing MP for Gorton and Denton has been uncovered, consisting of messages that could be perceived as anti-Semitic, racist against black MPs, and inappropriate comments about constituents saying he had, quote, positive visions of one person getting mowed down by an HGV, unquote. How will you respond to these new discoveries? Well, he was rightfully suspended from the Parliamentary Labour Party at the end of January. There's little more that can be said. We acted appropriately when the truth came to bear. And it goes from bad for worse for Labour. It turns out the health scare might not have been the real reason for his resignation. This might damage the sympathy vote towards Labour. Meanwhile, the Workers' Party of Britain drops out with an anti-endorsement of Reform UK as an enemy of the working class. Oh, there we go. 10th of February, Gorton Methodist Church is holding a hustlings today, organized by local voices. Attending also is the Green candidate Hannah Spencer, the Liberal Democrat Jackie Percy, the Advance UK candidate Nick Buckley, alongside the SDP and Communist League candidates. Notably absent, however, is Reform UK's Matt Goodwin and the Conservative Charlotte Cadden. What will be your main focus in this event? Well, I want to be approachable and friendly with everyone here today, my opponents and the members of public attending the event. People want a figure they can respect representing them, so let's just be that guy. It works out for you. Nick Buckley is there crying about immigration, but your bright and optimistic personality shone through today. The public sided with you, many already respecting your tenure as the mayor of Manchester. Well, there we go. Let's see if we can get Denton Northeast. Reform UK are the dominant right-wing faction in this by-election, being represented in the race by activist and GB News presenter Matt Goodwin. Reform UK are currently leading nationally in the polls, predominantly off the back of issues related to immigration and opposition to the Starmer government. How will you approach the Labour campaign in regards to Reform UK? Reform UK is a more extreme version of the Conservative Party. They will defund necessary social programs, sell off NHS to American pharmaceutical companies, and rerun the disaster of Liz Truss's 2022 mini-budget that crashed the economy. Need I remind you that Nigel Farage said that was the best Conservative budget since 1986. Nigel Farage claims it's a lie, but you've got receipts. And it's unambiguous that on that day the mini-budget was announced that he said those exact words. The ads roll out, the fact checks roll in. It's a brutal attack, and Matt Goodwin can only deny, deny, and deny. Let's just say it's hard to believe him. 13th February. The prescription of Palestinian Action as a terrorist organization, making support a criminal offense under the Terrorism Act of 2000, has today been found unlawful by the High Court of Justice. The prescription is still in force, awaiting a government appeal, if they attempt to appeal it at all. How will you discuss this case? Palestinian Action does not represent the thousands of peaceful protesters supporting the rights of the Palestinian people. The right to protest is a sacred British tradition, but it must remain peaceful and lawful. This attempt at a modern answer pleases few. The right wants commitment to the defense of Israel. The left believes Palestinian Action is part of resistance, with thousands being dragged off to police vans for peacefully expressing support of the group. Well, it seems to be helping us. Still. We're doing quite well. I want to see if we can't flip Denton south. And all constituencies, I know it doesn't matter too much, but it would be fun. Hannah Spencer is a Green candidate for this race, and she could potentially pose a threat from the left to Labour. Labour message has been, to this point, there's a two-horse race between Labour and Reform UK, but the Green stress is between them and Reform. The polls tightening between you and the Greens. Will he continue this message or change the Labour strategy? Well, did you remember the last week when Green Party canvassers were removed from assisted living facility in Burnham? Residents have said they've been noisy and caused stress among the residents, people who may be more vulnerable. Is this what we want from the party representing Gorton and Denton? The Greens decided to launch an internal investigation into this matter after the complaints rolled in. It might be a good idea to remind the voters of it. Well, there we are. Well, I see them starting to peek their unwashed heads out. We need to force them back. Tactical voting is likely to be a major faction in this by-election, with Labour and the Greens largely splitting the anti-reform vote. Tacticalvote.co.uk and StopTheTories.vote haven't yet declared who the tactical vote should be, but that's likely to change soon. It's set to either be Labour or the Greens. How will we make it more likely to be Labour? Well, out of the two, we are the broader tent. We have more potential to attract more voters. If we're being really serious about stopping Reform from winning this race, a safer option must be chosen for the tactical option. And that's Labour. Later today, the Tactical Voting Organization came to an agreement to endorse Labour, expect a boost in the polls. Defending the seat should be easier now. Now we'll look at that. Still doing better in Denton. Let's see if we can't do anything in Denton South. Tacticalvote.co.uk and StopTheTories.vote have declared Labour as the tactical vote in this by-election. With now being the case and Labour receiving a healthy boost in the polls, where will you prioritize the constituency? Gorton and Abbey Hay. This area has the most likely has most swing votes, so it's the ripest target for increasing support quickly. We'll deliver our next speech there. Focusing on Gorton and Abbey Hay won't specifically help with any group, but it works as an all-around approach that should help broadly across the constituency. February 16th. Today you're attending BBC Radio Manchester's debate at Media City UK in Salford. I'm alongside Matt Goodwin of Reform UK, Hannah Spencer of the Green Party, Charlotte Cadden of Conservatives, and Jack Percy of the Liberal Democrats. The first issue being discussed today is the cost of living. As the defending party, you are first to deliver your argument. How will you open on this topic? Look, I'm an outsider, and I'm not afraid to say it. The current Westminster system serves the wealthy London elite and deprives the rest of us in the process. I've grown to despise it. I'm going to take Parliament to take it head on, to give Gorton and Denton a fair shake, to level up the deprived North. The King of the North comes roaring out of the gate. The populist rhetoric is full on. One person that for sure is not cheering this on is the Prime Minister. He can't feel secure in his job with this kind of rhetoric dominating the campaign of his potential future gravedigger. Potential? Oh, Keir, you have no idea. Almost ahead in Denton West. I said Denton South. Next topic of the debate moves to is immigration. You're asked to speak third after Matt Goodwin and Charlotte Cadden. Would you plan on immigration, or would you like to respond to a previous speaker? Well, I'll put it as plainly as I can. The reason Reform and the Conservatives talk so much about immigration is because it divides us. It gets us pointing fingers at each other, and they feed off that division. There's a rational discussion to be had, but the hate the non-white British citizens aren't necessarily British. That's about hate and division. It's not us. It's not Manchester. You invite the rebuttal from Matt Goodwin and goes off the rails as he says some of the most distressing things about how you're supporting the terrorists who did the Manchester arena bombing and not real British people. It came across incredibly ugly, and even Charlotte Cadden, the Conservative, ended up on your side. That's rough, buddy. And in Denton West once again. The next topic, the debate, moves to housing, and more specifically, emphasize social housing. You're asked fourth after Hannah Spencer, Jack Percy, and Matt Goodwin in that order. What's your plan for housing, or would you like to respond to a previous speaker? Well, I plan to build at least one affordable house. Shit, I don't see that option up here. The last 4 years, we've built and are building over 9,000 homes across Greater Manchester, but there's more that needs to be done than just building homes. They must be livable communities. They must be livable. Communities must be clean and safe. Talking to residents in Gorton and Denton and hearing them out, they say, will something be done about the epidemic of fly tipping? In Parliament, I will make sure it's done. The pivot to fly tipping was unexpected, but not unwelcome. This is an issue that much of the Gorton Denton constituency is struggling with, and this answer resonates with those in needs. You know, one thing I wish this mod had was the little pop-ups that you'll see in, say, W or Sundance, which we just played on the channel, explaining some of these more niche issues to us non-British players. So if I could recommend anything to be added, either in this mod or your future mod team, I'd see if you can add those in. Anyway, Denton South, here we go. 19th of February. This morning, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Duke of York, has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office related to his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. What is your response? Well, Mr. Mountbatten Windsor must do the right thing and assist the U.S. congressional investigation in relation to the Epstein files. We must bring justice to all victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his clients. Soon after you deliver prompt commendation to the ex-prince, the Prime Minister also aligns with this. Taking a strong stance here might be for the best. The PM needs to look like something is being done. After the debate, the general consensus is Matt Goodwin won the debate. His immigration messaging proving strong. What? I thought we kicked ass there. Damn it. We're behind in all these... this is barnacles. 4 days after the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, Peter Mandelson, the former British ambassador to the United States, has also been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office related to Jeffrey Epstein. What will you say about this? The investigations must take their course, and Mandelson has a duty to disclose everything he knows in order for the wide investigation into Epstein to conclude with complete transparency. This may be the hardest you can go against Mandelson without risking a schism within the party. How are we doing the popular vote? We're about 21 points ahead. It's not enough if you ask me. Okay, northeast we go. The campaign is close to wrapping up, but you're hearing some unease back at Campaign HQ. Lucy Powell has clued you in on the Westminster Party, pulling out all campaign resources and actively working to sabotage your campaign. He's terrified, she tells you. You have to reassure him that you're not here to dig his grave. How will you respond? I'm going to take a sip of my Gatorade real quick. Fuck him! I'm here to finish off his weak, pathetic, unpopular government. I will become the next Prime Minister with the blessing of the parliamentary party that knows Starmer's time is up. We don't need him to win this. I'm the King of the North. We're going to win this race, whatever he says. You maintain your defiance and ambition. It is about replacing him. Oh, bloody hell. I was thinking we didn't need to go to Burnham. Well, the election is tomorrow, despite the struggles in the parliamentary party surrounding the Prime Minister. The situation on the ground in Gorton and Denton is looking good. What message will you prioritize on closing days? Well, you have no need to change things. The cost of living is the most important issue on the doorstep. And that's what we'll continue centering in our discussions. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Well, it was worth a shot. Let's go to Burnham, narrow up our margins. It's right on. Are we not going to win Burnham? Alright. Well, it's the final day of the campaign, and there's time for one more event before the end of the day. With people now voting, where will you finish your campaign? We'll conclude in Levenshulm and Burnham. There are many young people who want to start families who can't afford it. Let's talk about the plan to expand free breakfast clubs in schools. You have one last event centering on labor's plans for improving the cost of living, reducing costs for working families before heading back to Campaign HQ, ready to wait the 10 o'clock poll closing. You hope you've done enough. Election has arrived. Sit back. Get your popcorn at home, chat. Let's see. How we do percentage-wise? 18%. 22. Alright. The heavy red constituencies have come in, or the heavy partisan ones. I'm not too shocked, although I'm liking the margins off the top. Labor, or reform popping back in isn't the best, but it's all down to Burnham. Well, it's not all down to Burnham. I think we'll win no matter what at this rate. Good thing I have wood to knock on in my new place, right next to my setup. 62, 64. Skipped over 2 of the funny numbers. Dang it. And there we are. Burnham. Pretty narrow, actually. But that is it. 45.1% of the vote versus 28.3% for the Reform, 22.8% for the Greens, which seems a little strong. I know they were quite strong here. Maybe I'm just underestimating Green support versus Burnham support. Feel the burn, and it's storm over. Sir Oink a lot. I don't see him, though. I don't see Count Binface. Although the Monster Raving Looney Party doing well does hearten me. Andy Burnham will be the new MP for Gorton and Denton. Ever since you were given the green light from the Labour Party's Executive Council to run, this was the expected outcome. But there were things along the way that could have gone wrong. However, your confident campaign, you've kept the campaign on track. Axe to win the seat. Where do you go from here? Do you keep your word about not challenging the... What word? We have no word. Working with the party. Are your eyes set on entering number 10 Downing Street? You are, at the moment, the most popular figure in the Labour Party, so should Starmer fall, either from his own volition or you pushing him, you automatically front-runner to be the next Prime Minister. Andy, in the end, it's all up to you. Do you wish to take over the world? They missed an opportunity to do Andy, You're a Star by The Killers, which is the best British band, as I've come to realize from my time over there, even though they're not British. Anyway, let's take a look at the overall results. God, Labour, how did you drop the ball that badly? And let's do results by state. So the closest state, Burnham, only won it by about 20 votes, actually. A little, not even 20 votes, a little under. Denton West, about 350 there. Not bad. These elections are so narrow, it's hard to kind of conceptualize. I guess it's really like a congressional, right? Even then, our congressional district's like 700,000 people to district. Denton Northeast, about 400 votes. Let's see. Highest Monster Raving Loony Party percentage. That's the real question here. Gorton Abbey Hay really loves her Monster Raving Loonies. Workers' Party. Okay, they're not in this at all. That's right. They said they dropped out. Reform. Denton South. That's not a shock. About the Lib Dems. Looks like Gorton and Abbey Hay. They did the best. How about Conservatives? Denton West. Interesting. Further reading. Yeah, you didn't forget to put something here at least. What did you put? Yeah. If you guys want me to play as a plumber, let's get 11 likes and let me know in the comments on this video. Until then, she has an interesting sense of style, doesn't she? I'm going to leave things there, my friends, but thank you as always for watching. Like this video, like. If not, feel free to dislike, leaving comments or feedback down in the comment section below. I read all comments again. I do appreciate any feedback you might have for me. Check out my various links down in the description box below. Keep updated with these uploads as they come out. Hit the sub button, hit the notification bell. We have a lot of new campaign trail stuff, a lot of Paradox strategy games. I want to do more stuff soonish, you know, soon TM, all that jazz. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, my friends. I appreciate you all watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye now.